off your iPad.
Okay, let's get started. Welcome everyone, and why don't we get started in a comfortable seat at the front of our mat. And you can take a cross-legged position. If you have full lotus or half lotus in your practice, feel free to take that as well. So with the legs, you can cross-legged, you can bring the ankles in some, whatever's comfortable. Having a little space feels better, then go ahead and do that. And let's take this position. The hands can be on the knees or in the lap. And if it feels okay with you, you can flutter the eyes closed. And just take some deep breaths. Just continue breathing, being fully present here on your mat, leaving behind the day's list of things to do. Let the breathing become a little deeper as you feel the belly rise. Maybe you put one hand to the belly, one hand to the chest. And try to make your inhales as long as the exhales. Take another big breath in and sigh it out. Another big breath in and let's sigh it out. Go ahead and change the crossing of our legs. I tend to go to one side, and if you've got the right in first, then maybe bring the left in first. See how that feels to the body. Move around in it a little bit. Probably feels a little different. And let's do a few more deep breaths in this posture. Hands can be anywhere. On the next breath or two, take your hands to your side, still in this cross-legged pose. And on an inhale, we'll let hands rise overhead. And just stretch up. Get long in the torso as the hands reach to the sky. Continue with the deep breaths. And on an exhale, we'll let the arms float back down to the earth. Keep breathing. On your next inhale, let the arms float back up to the top, reaching for the sky. Reach through the arms, through the fingertips, get long. Feel the shoulders reaching above. Feel the chest getting long. And on the next exhale, let the arms flutter back down to the earth.
Dylan, can you turn it down, please?
Oh, that's right.
Come on, please.
Hi, you're gonna have to go to the yellow room
I'll go to the yellow room.
or turn it off.
It is down.
Thank you, but we can't have any noise in here. Thank you. Let's do that one more time. Arms are back up overhead. And this time on your next exhale, let's hinge forward, letting the hands come in contact with the floor if that's comfortable, or the legs. Hands are in front. Maybe you come to the fingertips, wherever you can lean forward, and just breathe here in this posture. Maybe with each exhale, you reach the fingers a little farther in front. You should feel a deep stretch in the hips. If you want to stay where you are, that's perfectly fine. But maybe with each exhale, you reach the fingers a little forward. And just breathe in this posture as long as comfortable for you. You can pull back a little bit toward the arms if the stretch is too deep for you. All right, everybody looks great. Everyone looks great. And let's walk the fingers back to your lap. You can just walk the fingers backwards till we're seated in our regular upright cross-legged position. Let's go ahead and recross the legs. Change the cross up that you have of your legs. Reach up and let's do a couple side twists. So on an inhale, arms are back overhead, reaching high. And on the exhale, we're gonna have, as we exhale and twist, the left hand will go forward, right hand backward, behind you. You can gaze to the back over the right shoulder or gaze to the side. Still reaching up long in the chest, in the torso. The abs are activated, so pull in the core here. Core is drawing in to the spine. And on an inhale, twist back out. Arms are overhead. Long reach to the sky. Maybe wiggle the fingers a little bit. Take another breath. And on an inhale, we twist to the left. Right hand going forward. Now the left hand is behind. Again, we're working the core. Belly button is pulled in. We're long in the torso. Your gaze can be over that left shoulder or maybe to the side. Hold for another breath. And on an inhale, arms come back up. Long reaching toward the sky overhead, and then hinge forward, fingertips on the floor. And let's walk the fingers, walk the hands back to the lap whenever you're ready. And take a few breaths in our neutral cross-legged pose. From here, in the next breath or two, go ahead and get in a reclining position on your back. And after that work, maybe stretch the arms behind you. Point the toes. Arms are behind you, so when you're in a long pose there, stretching out the shoulders. Good. Good. Yeah, you can have your arms behind you because we did some work on the shoulders there. Maybe you point and flex the toes. Point and flex the toes. Get long. Nice. I'm gonna get Okay, from here, let's raise to seated. The legs are still out long in front of us. And we're going to use our strap. If your strap is handy, I'll demonstrate what we're doing. If you don't have a strap, a scarf is fine. A necktie is fine. But we're gonna do a couple leg stretches, and sometimes we're gonna do them reclined, but sometimes it's easier to get the strap around your foot when you're seated. So using your strap on your right foot, go ahead and have the strap around maybe the ball or just behind the ball of the foot where you can catch it. And have the strap in one hand. So you've got the strap around right foot, you've got the strap in your right hand, and just ease yourself back down on your mat. And we're gonna pull in the right knee. We've got the strap around the foot. We're just gonna pull the knee into the chest, not stretching it long, just knee is into the chest. Couple breaths here. And then using your strap, you're going to extend the right leg straight up to the ceiling, straight up to the sky. And the strap helps you get long. Flex the foot. You can pull it in. Good, Dylan. You can pull in, and I can help you with that. Maybe move the leg in that hip socket right to left. Move it around in circles. In one direction, then to the next direction. Only if this is accessible for you.
My leg is too little.
That's okay. Go back to your mat, I'll help you. Okay, and then you can come back to a neutral leg. Flex the foot again so you feel a nice stretch in the back of the leg. You can remove the strap and let the right leg float back down to the earth. Maybe shake out both legs. Shake out both legs, and we'll do the same thing on the left side. So if you can, in a reclined position, you would go ahead, bring in left knee. You want the strap around at the instep of the left foot. Put the strap just in one hand, and here on the left side, we've got strap on left foot. You've got the strap in your left hand. And maybe with knee pulled in, you start to move the knee from side to side a little bit. Gentle movement here. And when you're ready, start to kick the leg up to the sky. Remember to flex the foot and give a little pull on your strap, just enough for you to feel the stretch in the back of the leg, in the hamstring. Maybe start to move it around a little bit in the socket, making little circles in one direction and then the other. Little circles. Remember to flex. If you need a deeper stretch, go ahead and pull up on your strap a little bit until you feel something. All of our bodies are different. The right side may feel different than the left side. So just go with it. No judgment. You just want to give the body a little bit of stretch. You can release your strap and let the left leg float down to the floor. Now, bend the knees and put the soles of the feet on the mat, about mat distance apart. And let's just go ahead and windshield wiper the legs. Wash that away. Windshield wiper the legs from right to left. You should feel a twist in the side. Maybe here, put the arms out to a T, or maybe you do cactus or goalpost arms. But you want your arms out to either side. And next time you're on your right, just let the legs fall. Let the legs fall to the right. And now you should feel a deep stretch on the left side of the body. If your knees are to the right, take your gaze off to the left side. Maybe you take right foot if you need a deeper stretch, and put right foot on top of left knee, if possible. That is just a suggestion. Like everything I say is just a suggestion. Perfectly fine to leave right ankle on the ground. Or you can take, I'm taping, okay? Or you can keep that right ankle on top of left knee. Take a couple more breaths here. Arms are off to the side, gaze to the left. On an inhale, knees are back to the center. And let's go ahead and window wipe those legs again. Nice work. I know we're feeling this. Just loosening up the body as we begin our practice. Next time you're to the left, just let the knees fall. Again, you should have some space between the knees. You can have your gaze to the right. Maybe, if you have the space, go ahead and put left ankle on top of right knee. And that will give you a deeper stretch in the right side of the body. But again, only if your body says it's okay. Don't force it. Stay right here for a couple more breaths. And knees are back to center, soles on the floor. And let's window wipe those legs once more. And on the next couple breaths, we'll meet in hands and knees. Tabletop position at the front of our mat when everyone's ready. Once you're there in tabletop, you can take a little movement with the body. Maybe move side to side. Maybe around in circles. Whatever feels good. Sort of a counter to some of those poses we did on our back, stretching the leg. Maybe you move back and forth. Maybe you need happy baby right now. Just take a few moments here. Remembering to breathe. Now let's take some cat-cows. Come back to neutral table. And on an inhale, we're going to lift the gaze and drop the belly, coming to cow. On an exhale, arch the back for cat pose. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, arch the back. And let's continue with this movement and do it at the time of your own breath. Inhaling to arch, exhaling to round for cat. And let's everybody sit the heels back for child's pose. Arms can be at your side of the body, or if you want a little more active child's pose, you can put them straight ahead. Fingertips reaching forward, palms are down on the mat, forehead is down, Hips are reaching back to the heels. And let's reconnect with the breath here. And on your next inhale, we're back to a neutral table. The wrists are under shoulders, legs, knees about hips width apart. The tops of the feet are pressing into the mat. Neck is neutral, not arched, not hanging down. The gaze, if you have your eyes open, gaze is maybe an inch or two in front of your mat. And now let's do spinal balance. First, go ahead and kick your right foot out. First, just stretch right foot out long behind you, but keep the balls of the toes on the mat. And let's just move back and forth here. Get a little stretch in the calf. If you're too far off your mat, go ahead and move the hands forward, move the knee, but you want the balls of the right foot on the mat and sort of move back and forth here. This is not comfortable for your left knee. Please don't do this pose. We're going to go into a spinal balance. Okay, nice stretch in that right knee. Toes are still on the mat. On an inhale, let's raise right leg parallel to your mat. Gaze is still a couple inches off of your mat. Right leg is long, right foot is flexed behind you. Get your balance here, and once you have it, let the left hand come off the mat and it's forward. And so now we have left hand forward, right leg pushing back. You want that right foot flexed as if it's pushing against the wall. Spinal balance, and if you can't get left leg all the way up to parallel or in line with the glutes, that's fine. Take a couple more breaths here and let left hand, right leg go down to the mat. Let's take a little movement in our table. Maybe move the hips side to side. And we're going to take that balance on the left side. So first, let's kick left leg back behind us. Toes are on the mat. Left balls of the foot on the mat. And let's find a little movement here. Pushing off the left toes back and forth, finding a calf stretch. And so the front of the body is just moving forward a little bit. Over hands, maybe you're on your knuckles, maybe you're on fingertips, but you want to push in so you're feeling a stretch in the calf, back and forth. On an inhale, take the leg up, should be in line with the hip, left foot is flexed, and now right arm, right hand also rises off the mat. Forward. Maybe you have a nice line. If you come out of it, that's fine. Just try and get back in it. Right foot, top of right foot is pressing into the mat. Left foot is flexed. Right arm forward. Another couple breaths. And let knee and hand meet the mat. And let's move around a little bit. We're going to do that one more time, but we're going to include some crunches here. Go ahead and move around in your table. Maybe you take the hips back to the heels, do a couple circles, in both directions, and then come to neutral table. We won't hold the spinal balance as long. We'll do 3 crunches on each side, and then we'll move on. So on an inhale, right leg is up, long behind you, right foot is flexed, left arm is forward. Take a couple breaths here. Inhale, on an exhale, elbow comes into knee. Inhale, exhale it back out. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale it back out. And do that one more time. And then hand, knee can meet the earth. We'll do the left side one more time, and then we'll take a break. On an inhale, left leg reaches out long behind you. Right arm is up in front of you. Pinky side of the finger is closest to the floor. Take an inhale, there you go. Inhale it out. Exhale it back in. Inhale it out. We're just doing 3. I'm showing your third. After your third one, limbs can meet the floor. And you can sink back into your child's pose. And we'll stay here in child's pose for 4 breaths. And when you're ready, we'll meet at the top of the mat. However you get there is fine. Let's meet in a forward fold, our ragdoll pose. Just let everything fall. Maybe fingertips reaching the mat, just hanging long. Maybe you grab opposite elbows here and just sway. Neck is relaxed. Allow the jaw to soften here. Maybe close the eyes and just examine how your body feels in this pose. If you have the bind on the elbows, you can go ahead and let that go and let arms hang long. And on an inhale, we'll rise to flat back, halfway lift, maybe fingertips find the calves, and exhale, fall forward. On an inhale, halfway lift, exhale, fall forward, and the next inhale brings you all the way up, top of mat, arms reaching for the sky. Take a couple breaths here. And then let hands come to prayer. You're doing great. We're about halfway through our practice right now. Just a few more things to do in standing pose. On an inhale, arms float back up overhead. Maybe a baby back bend here. Inhale, exhale all the way back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back down. Inhale, all the way back up. Top of mat. Arms reaching high up. And here, maybe right hand grabs left wrist. And let's bend over to the right. I know some people like to take left foot off the mat when they're stretched. If that's in your practice, go ahead. And then bring everything back in. Switch the grip. Left hand is on the right wrist. Maybe right leg goes out. And side bend to the left. Breathe in this posture. Couple more breaths. Bring it all back in. Arms reach high. Inhale for a baby back bend. And exhale, swan dive all the way back down. Let's take that one more time. Inhale for halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, bend forward. On an inhale, arms are all the way up, overhead, reach long. Right hand grabs left wrist. Side bend to the right. Exhale brings you back to center. A little faster this time. Side bend to the left. Inhale back to center. Breathe. Inhale for our baby back bend. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hang here in our ragdoll pose and just sway side to side. On an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. And let's all meet down on the belly on our mat. And bring your right cheek to your mat, looking to your left. Take a couple breaths here. Let's take hands by the chest. Arms are bent. Elbows are bent, but close in to the body. Move the head so you're looking forward. And we're going to take a baby cobra pose. So again, hands are flat on the mat. Elbows are pulled in toward the body. And on an inhale, just peel the chest off of the mat, looking forward. Exhale, back down, forehead to mat. On an inhale, come back to baby cobra. Peel the chest off the mat. Again, this is baby cobra, so you're just pulling up just a little bit. Neck is long, we don't want to arch the neck. And forehead back to the mat. Next inhale, maybe we go to full cobra. Chest is coming up, upper part of the abdomen area to cobra. Take a couple breaths here, feeling this back bend, and then we're back down, forehead to mat. And now rest on the left cheek. Arms can be by your side. On your next inhale, bring the head forward again. And now we're going to do a grasshopper pose, similar to a cobra, but now we'll bring the hands back in toward the chest in this familiar cobra position. But now we're going to tip the hands, come up to the fingertips, and we're going to take the hands off the mat. So we're broadening the shoulders a little bit. Elbows are towards the sky. And now on an inhale, we're going to peel the chest again off the mat. And this is our grasshopper pose. Take a couple breaths here in grasshopper. And come back down to your mat. Arms are by your side. We'll do that one more time. Bring the hands back up to your side. Make a little tent. You're on the fingertips. Broad through the shoulders, elbows to the sky. And let's raise the chest, lift the chest off the mat. Take a couple breaths here in grasshopper. And on an inhale, next exhale, find the mat. And once again, cheek to the mat, either side. And let's come back to the breath. When you're ready, we're going to come to plank pose. So hands are on the mat, flat on the mat. You can curl the toes under, and you can raise the plank as a flat board. You can have the knees on the mat. Either one is fine. But go ahead, come to plank. You've got wrists under the shoulders, toes are curled. And now go ahead and push back to downward facing dog. And when we come back to downward facing dog, you can get there either from plank or you can take table. Once in your downward dog, let the neck, let the head hang. Pedal out your dog a little bit. Maybe we've tried to warm the calves up when we started class with our strap leg stretches, but go ahead, pedal out your downward dog. And then you can walk or float the feet to meet the hands at the top of the mat. Looks good. Take an inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. And then we're going to inhale to our chair pose. Here in chair, two ways we can do this. We can have our feet hips distance apart and lower the seat. Arms are up by the ears, if that's comfortable. The other way we can do chairs, we can have big toes together and have a little space between the heels, whichever one is comfortable for you. If you have a little or experience a little pain in the knee, it may be easier to have the feet hip width apart as you come to your chair pose. Let's take a couple more breaths here in chair. Then we can stand straight up and on an exhale, fall forward. Inhale for halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fall forward. On an inhale, we'll come back to chair. A couple breaths in our chair pose. And here in chair, you want to be able to have the weight a little bit in the heels so you can wiggle the toes. You don't want to sort of grip the mat with your toes in this chair pose. Sit back in it so that when you look down, you can see your toes. Another breath. On an inhale, stand straight up. Exhale, fall forward. Hanging here in our ragdoll pose. On an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. The next inhale brings us back to chair. Let your hands come to prayer. Still sitting in our chair pose. And on an inhale, let's twist to the right. Left elbow hooking on the thigh, on right thigh. And if you have the space, look over right shoulder. Couple breaths here in our twisted chair. Let an inhale bring you back to center. Arms are back up in our chair pose. Take a breath. And next inhale takes you to the other side. Right elbow hooking outside of left thigh. Inhale back to neutral chair and fall forward. Good, 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 good. Let's inhale, halfway lift, and let's everybody find a child's pose. Nice work. We've got one more standing flow, and then the rest of the work will be seated. But let's take a moment here to come back to the breath. Take a moment to get recentered in our practice. This is a good time to take a drink. Make sure to take what you need. This is your practice. Like I always say, I am here as a guide. I give you some suggestions. This is your practice. So go ahead, take a drink, take a couple more breaths here in child's pose. Remembering what brought you to the mat. Just give yourself a little appreciation for coming to your mat today. Sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves that we didn't get this done throughout the day and now the day is done. But just show some appreciation that you made it to the mat. You're here. We've got about maybe 15 minutes together. And we'll have a nice long Shavasana. I know this is a lot of work. You're doing great. Take another moment or two in your child's pose, and then we'll come back to hands, knees. From hands and knees, go ahead and find downward dog. Hands are pressing into the mat. All the fingers are pressing into the mat. Heels are reaching down. It's okay if they don't touch, but heels are reaching down, so you feel that in the back of the legs and the calves. On an inhale, rise to the toes. And go ahead and step, float, hop to the front of your mat. On an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. And on your next exhale, arms reach high overhead. And we'll come to warrior two. On the right side, so right knee, right leg is bending forward. Arms are to a T. Your left foot is about parallel to the mat. Maybe the toes are coming in a little bit forward. So somewhere between parallel and 45 degrees. Left leg is strong. The left edge of the foot is pressing into the mat. Arms, hands are active. Gaze is forward. Take a look at your knee. Knee should be tracking over that second and third toe, but you don't want to overextend. So go ahead, maybe move around, see how you feel in your warrior two. Take a breath. On an exhale, come to side angle. Let the elbow meet the thigh. Left arm goes long overhead. You're still bending in that right knee. Looks good, excellent. Great, maybe look down. Make sure the knee is not going too far. Gaze can be at the right foot. Gaze can be up to the left hand. Couple more breaths here. Come back to warrior two. Left arm goes down, left leg. Right arm rises to reverse warrior. Feeling a nice stretch on the right side of the body. Couple breaths here. Reverse warrior. And cartwheel the arms back down to the earth. Here we'll take a chaturanga. So in this plank pose, maybe you go all the way down to the mat. Maybe just halfway down, hover. Tops of feet find the mat, pressing upward, and then over the toes back to downward dog. Or you don't have to take a vinyasa at all. You can just meet us in downward dog. Couple breaths here in downward dog to reconnect. Find the breath. Come to the tops of the toes and walk, float, hop once again back to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. And let your next inhale take you all the way, rise to standing at the top of your mat. Stretch long. Take a breath and move into warrior two. Now left leg is in front, right leg behind. Right leg is at 45-degree angle parallel to the mat. Right arm is reaching back, left arm is reaching strong, reaching forward, arm, fingers activated. The left knee is strong, don't let it collapse. Keep left knee tracking over that second and third toe. Your right foot is strong in the mat. The right edge is gripping to the mat, keeping you stable in place. Tuck the tailbone in. Zip up through the core. Belly button is reaching towards spine. And now for side angle. Left elbow finds left thigh. Right arm reaches up to the sky. Gaze can be at left toes. Gaze can be to the side. Or gaze can be that right arm is reaching strong. Fingertips energized. Couple more breaths here. Then rise back to warrior two. Couple breaths here in warrior two. And then let right arm slide down right leg. Left arm reaches up for reverse warrior. Arm is strong. Don't lose the bend in the left knee. Continue to breathe. Zip up through the abdomen, through the ribs. Look up, another breath. And then cartwheel the hands back to the earth. Take your chaturanga here, or go ahead and meet us back in downward dog. And take a breath in downward dog. We'll take this through one more time before we come down to our mat. We'll take it a little quicker this time. On an inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, just bring the right knee in for a crunch. Kick the leg back out. Take a breath. On an inhale, right leg comes in and lands between hands. And rise to warrior two. Arms to a T. Right leg bends, warrior two. Take it to side angle. Back to warrior two. And reverse the warrior. Reaching out. Left arm is down, left leg. Cartwheel, hands back to the earth. And take a vinyasa or not. We'll meet back in downward dog. Take a couple breaths here. Left leg goes up. Bring left knee in for a crunch and hold. Left leg goes back up. And on your next exhale, left leg comes forward. You can move it, put it in position, and then find warrior two. Now left knee is forward, right leg is the back of the mat. Arms are reaching in opposite directions. Right hand's reaching back, left hand arm reaching forward. Continue to breathe. Don't let that knee collapse. Left knee should be tracking over second and third toes. Take a breath and take side angle. Left elbow finds the thigh, right arm reaches up. Take a breath back to warrior two. Take a breath here. Reverse the warrior. And hands cartwheel back down to the earth. Chaturanga. Take a vinyasa. And we'll meet back in downward dog. 4 breaths here in downward dog. Everybody looks great. Maybe after your 4 breaths, go ahead and let's go to a child's pose. Let's reconnect. Let's get recentered. Take some big inhales, big exhales. Great, just come back to the breath. Excellent. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Come back to the breath. Now that we're all in child's pose, foreheads to the mat, arms are reaching forward. Take a couple breaths to come back to reclining on the back. Reclining on the back. So legs are straight ahead, arms are by your side, maybe palms are facing up. Just take some breaths right here. Let's go ahead and take some boat poses. So rise one more time. Knees are up, soles of the feet are flat on the ground. We'll take arms straight ahead in front of us. Maybe palms are facing each other. And you can stay right here. This is a perfectly fine boat pose. We're going to take high boat and low boat. If you have the space and if your body allows, you can take legs off the floor for your boat pose, and this would be your high boat, okay? Either way is fine. You can also keep the heels on the ground, feet flexed up for your boat pose. So we've got some choices here, whatever is comfortable for you. So you're in high boat. Take a breath and exhale to low boat. Inhale, high boat. Exhale, low boat. Inhale for high boat. Exhale, low boat. And let's keep moving like that. And let's do 3 more. Okay. High boat, low boat. High boat, low boat. High boat, low boat. 1 more. And let's fall gently back to the earth. And let's shake it out. Maybe move the body, the hips and the legs from side to side. Let's shake out the boat. Nice work. Let's bend the knees, keeping the soles of the feet on the ground. And let's make a figure 4 with the legs. And so lifting the right leg, let that right ankle come across the left thigh. And we're going to take reclined pigeon, or it also looks like a figure 4. So when we have the right ankle comfortable somewhere on the thigh, maybe you stay here for your reclined pigeon. If available for you and you feel like a deeper stretch, you can lift left leg off the mat and wrap the hands around the back of left thigh for pulling in a little bit. And so you've got left foot flexed, the hands are on the back of the left thigh, pulling in, while the right leg in this figure 4 is pushing out. So you've got this double action going on with the right knee and right leg going forward, and you're pulling in the left side. And so you should feel a stretch around the right. In this position, both feet are flexed. You can keep your back on the ground. You can raise up and pull in that left leg. But again, don't overdo it. Just so you find your edge. Okay, we don't want to go too far. Whatever your edge is, where you're feeling something. Take a couple more breaths in this posture, and then release left leg to the ground if you have it up. Remove the right leg. And let's windshield it out again, windshield wiper. And let's do the left side. Knees are still bent. Right foot on the ground. We take left foot up in that figure 4. So left ankle is across right thigh. Maybe push gently on your left knee in that figure 4 position. And if it's in your practice, go ahead and raise right leg up so the calf is parallel to the floor. Right foot is flexed if you're in this posture. And you can go ahead, interlace fingers behind right thigh. And this is your reclined pigeon. So you've got this double action going on. You've got your left ankle and foot bent in your figure 4 on the right thigh. Both feet are flexed. So the action that's going on is that you are pulling in the right leg with the foot flexed. Try and keep that right calf parallel to the ground. But the left leg is pushing out. So while you're pulling in on the right leg, left leg and knee pushing out. So they're pushing against one another. And what you should feel is a stretching, a deep stretching in the left side. It shouldn't be painful. Again, on the side, just find your edge where you feel a stretch. Whatever is going to serve you. Couple more breaths in this pose. And then let right leg fall gently back to the earth. Uncurl that left foot and let left legs just windshield wipers. Soles are on the mat. Put some space between the feet so the legs have room to go move side to side. Window wiping those knees, the legs, giving ourselves a break. One more pose before Savasana, since we have soles of the feet on the floor. Come back to a neutral pose with knees reaching to the sky. Arms are long on your side. Palms touching the mat or face down. Take a breath. And on an inhale, come to bridge pose. Lifting up the thighs, the hips, the lower back. Arms are assisting you in that pose. Maybe you scoot the shoulders a bit under, lace the fingers under the hips, and that will allow you to raise a little higher. Maybe you use a block and bring the legs forward for our bridge pose. And this is our last pose before Savasana. Take another breath. If you have the block, you can remove it. I'll give a couple cues for Savasana. And you can just lift up, move the block to one side. If you feel like you need a deeper stretch, you can come to bound angle. And so on the mat, you have the soles touching. Legs are out a little bit, and you can use your block to support. You can put that under your thigh, and then you can recline, bound angle recline. And so I find if it's uncomfortable for the legs or the knees to hang splayed with the feet, you can use your blocks to support your legs. And I find it helps to keep them in that hip or that thigh crease. So you can take this for Savasana, or you can take your legs long. Let's take a community breath. Let's inhale, and all together, sigh it out. One more time, inhale. Sigh it out, and take rest. Start to bring some life back into the body. Maybe moving the toes, the fingers, moving the head gently from side to side. Feel free to stay here in Savasana, or if you're ready to come out, go ahead and take an easy curl to one side of your mat. Take a couple breaths here. And you can use a hand to lift you back up to seated at the front of your mat. Hands can come into prayer. Let's move palms to forehead again. Just a reminder for us to be mindful of our thoughts. Can move the hands to the lips. Mindful of the things we say. Can move the hands to heart center. And again, mindful of the way we treat others. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Thank you. I'll be here after class if anyone wants to chat about anything. Remember to drink your water. Rise slowly and carefully. We did do a full hour today, so make sure to drink your water throughout the day. And have a good afternoon.